do something a little bit differently. I've been in business for 45 years. And again, I've had a lot of experiences, but I want to talk about leadership. And I really respect and admire the previous speaker, Darling, about where she started out in her career and her life. And it's a hell of a lot different than where I started out. And it's probably where I learned more about leadership than all the other opportunities I've had to meet some of the greatest leaders in the world. I learned more about management as a male person in a 4,000 employee factory in Chicago, Illinois. It was a 4,000 employee factory in the 1960s, and if you remember, if you look back in history, it was run all by World War II veterans. It was run by people that believed in Taylorism. It was all run by people under the command and control, the confrontational management. I worked for one of the toughest local unions you ever see in your entire life. It was all about security in those days because we had built war components during World War II, so we had 6 levels of clearances that if you didn't have a pass, you weren't allowed to go from one floor to another. Most of the people really didn't even see end products. We made crawler tractors, we made engines. The 2 most powerful people in the entire factory of 4,000 was the plant manager who had a blue pass and the mail boy who had a blue pass as well. I was one of the few people that could go through all 26 acres, 1 mile each way, and observe everything that you could possibly imagine. And one of the things I'll never forget was always observing leadership and the foremans, the general foremans, the superintendents. I just had such a dramatic impact in my life about how somebody could be a certain way and what the hourly guys would whisper about them, okay, or where the office workers would basically say about somebody. And it had an everlasting impact in my entire life. One of the greatest gifts that position gave me was to recognize something simple about going through an office or going through a factory or going through a business and just looking somebody in the eye and say hello. A simple thing, regardless of where your stature or where your position as a company, makes such a difference to so many people inside your organization. A simple hello, a simple how was your day? And I was fortunate because at that particular point in time, they weren't promoting people on talent. What they were promoting people were on age, because Wall Street had analyzed the Fortune 500 company, and the average ages of the World War II veterans were somewhere in the 52, 53 range, and they were evaluating the stock price. And so International Harvester went on this massive push to bring young people up through management structures, and being 19 years old, I dragged down that average age of the management people real well. And so I got to go on a really fast track. I got to go into the office, and I was an hourly employee, and I got to be able to become a buyer, and I got to be able to see so many things that my parents or the earlier generation didn't have. Because prior to the 1970s, if you went into work, the probability is that you stayed in the same position your entire life. I mean, you'd been in engineering, you'd say, I'd like to go in sales and marketing. They said, well, you've been in engineering, you don't have any sales and marketing experience, so you'd always end up in sales and marketing. You didn't cross-train in those particular days. That's how the company was for 87, 97 years, something of that vicinity.